The protagonist of this film is a young woman named Rockwell, who comes from a low-income family, but whose wealthy neighbors control a large business called Alpha 3 that was once compared to Tesla in size. Raquel used to appreciate and research Artemis Aries on the internet when he was the firm owner's favorite among the three sons Apollo, Aries, and Artemis. Therefore, the movie starts with a Wi-Fi issue that day, when the Dalga brothers' Wi-Fi stops working while Raquel's Wi-Fi is active, and neighboring Apollo jumps through the wall of Raquel's house to be able to access the password, finally leading to the conclusion join her Wi-Fi with his laptop. The next day at school, Rachel meets her best friend Yoshi. Her friend Yoshi loves her but is unable to express his feelings to her. This was stated by his brother Eris. To the conclusion join her Wi-Fi with his laptop. The next day at school, Rachel meets her best friend Yoshi. Her friend Yoshi loves her but is unable to express his feelings to her. This was stated by his brother Eris. Raquel looks at him through the window and tells him to stop, but he doesn't seem to listen. Eventually, he leaves. In the next scene Raquel is in a playground and sneak peek Aries while he is working out. Later she stalks Aries and end up in a jungle in about a minute. Aries shows up and tell her she is scared and wants him to walk her home. Aries agrees, but with a condition that she will have to kiss him. First she hesitates but agrees. In the end his lips almost touched hers but he stops and starts walking until they reach their home. After finishing dinner with her mother she goes back to her room to find out Aries sneaking inside. Rack will insist him to go home but he knew that she likes him and won't call her mother on him. He makes her sit on a chair and slowly starts kissing her beautiful legs. She wants him to keep engaging in seduction from within. He does this behavior that really arouses Raquel, but later, while she is at work and conversing with his closest friend Yoshi, Aries sneaks out of her room through the window. Suddenly she nervously encounters Aries approaching him. He invites her to his brother's new club that's opening same night and tells her that she can bring any of her friends at the party. Raquel and Aries can be seen together. During the time that Raquel is seated on Aries in the chair, Harry becomes very aroused and moves slowly toward her face to kiss her, but she resists and leaves the already aroused Harry behind, making it appear as though she did it because Aries had already done it with her earlier. Later, she meets Apollo in the club. Apollo was never permitted to drink by his older brother but Rack will purposefully make him drink, so as a result, he ends up being very drunk. Apollo shows Raquel's friend Daniela that he likes her. He picks Raquel's phone and throws it away from the car. They can't leave drunk Apollo at his house, so they decide to let him sleep in Raquel's room that night. Suddenly Aries shows up and he also decides to stay. Now Raquel has no choice but to sleep in the middle of two brothers. Aries slowly uses his magic fingers and things start to happen. Raquel looks like she is on top of the world and enjoy every bit of it. Next morning at her school, when she tells her friend about the incident from last night, she learns that Aries gave her a brand new phone because his brother had broken hers the previous evening. She decides not to accept it and walks to his house to return it. There, she meets Claudia, who informs Raquel that Aries is waiting for her in the game room. Raquel enters the room and sees Aries talking to a girl on his phone. She silently drops his phone and begins to leave, but Aries catches, to be under stress. While Aries is outside, Claudia tells Raquel to leave the house. Once Raquel has left the house, Aries calls Aries. They attend Daniela's party, where Daniela even kisses Apollo, but soon leave him and depart with her friend, Raquel, who then discovers Aries kissing another girl and leaves the party upset and distraught. Later that night Yoshi and Raquel are sitting with each other talking. Suddenly the pool start to pour out dirt water and they leave. Raquel is walking towards her home very drunk but Aries arrives at the location. He takes Raquel home safely. Raquel is still emotional and asks Aries to tell her a story before sleep. Immediately he begins telling her his own story while Raquel is barely conscious and drunk. Aries is explaining her that he always loved her but can't tell her because love will make him weaker. Next day his dad tells him to focus on study and stay away from girls. Later Raquel is sitting in a library with Yoshi. Aries approaches her and asks her on a date. At first she is a bit hesitant but later agrees to go on a date. Yoshi encounter this incident and they argue. Yoshi tells her that Aries is just using her and walk away frustrated. Later on they decide to go on a costume party, where Raquel is a witch. Both go on the top of Aries' father's company tower and after having nice dinner, they make love. Now, they are really a couple and makes out whenever the hell they want, but Aries' father get to know about all the good deeds happening. His father ends Aries up, scolding him in front of his family. Later decide to get a job at Raquel's workplace and try to make money for his studies on his own, but his company's rat tells Aries' older brother about this. Next week Raquel gets ready to go to a company's party with Aries. While they are talking she's shocked to see her mother working as a waitress in the same party. She leaves the party immediately. Aries get to know the truth that his older brother intentionally invited her mother to be a waitress in their party. so that they both break up from their relationship. Raquel is at home and is very sad, whereas Aries is also showing sad emotions because now he is really in love with her. She goes to schools and encounters an incident where Apollo is asking Daniela for prom, but she denies it. Later Aries meets Raquel at her workplace and tries to talk to him but see him sitting with his family. While she shouts that she loves Aries, but since his family is sitting with him he decides to ignore everything. Later Brooke and Raquel goes to prom all alone. Aries arrives at the party as well but does not meet Raquel and meets Yoshi instead. He takes Yoshi near the swimming pool and tells him to punch his face as hard as he can because he cheated on Raquel. It doesn't take too long for Yoshi to turn into the One-Punch Man and knocks Aries out. As a result, Aries gets thrown into the swimming pool, which contains less water than usual, thus making Aries unable to escape it. Little did they realize that Aries was extremely allergic to chlorine. Now Yoshi goes back to Raquel and describes her of what happened. Raquel goes to the pool and finds Aries totally unconscious. They call the ambulance. His condition becomes very critical that he admits in ICU. Luckily a few days later he successfully recovers from the accident. Aries goes back home and his family loves him even more. His father and his older brother start to let go of their ego. They send him to medical school but Aries keeps his distance from Raquel. She writes a book about her story, and in no time it gets very famous, loved by millions of people. Later she can be seen laying on her bed and texting Aries, but as a surprise Aries is looking through her room window. Already they once again do the deed. In the end.